go. Oh wait! Okay, done. Reside in the greater Reykjavik area, which is comprised of Reykjavik city itself, along with some neighboring towns that have sort of merged with the city, but remain independent. And being part of such a small population can have its complications. Not everyone knows each other, but it's kind of hard to go anywhere without running into someone who knows someone you know. So, you know, that's why, for instance, blind dating has not caught on here, because it's just really impractical. But we have this database, which has proven pretty practical. They've charted the DNA of every Icelander, basically, and you know, they did that because they're trying to you know, figure out diseases and how to cure them. But you know, it's a practical side effect. You can also figure out how related you are to someone. And you know, you're usually related at some point, but if it's like 5 or 7 times removed, that's not a big relation. But if it's down to maybe 3 times, then you probably want to reconsider. And we also have this thing where we name one thing after another, so you have a really long word or long name. So you have a hill, which is green, so you have the Green Hill. Then you have the lake next to the Green Hill, so you have Green Hill Lake. Then you have a river, so you have Green Hill Lake River, and there's a farm, so you have Green Hill Lake River Farm. And that's why we have words like Hallgrimskirkja or Hallgrimskirkja, etc. And one time he was traveling with some other man, and they ran into some trouble because there was a storm. But some local farmer was just kind enough to let them stay in his barn, and he even brought them milk. so the land belonged to men. But for a long time, there were no villages in this country, for centuries even, just these farms, few and far between. And people didn't have that much interaction with each other. But of course they had some interaction, obviously, and after a while they just felt the need for some kind of law and structure. So they founded the parliament at Thingvellir in the year 930. And they picked that location because it was convenient for people from most parts of the country, except maybe the east. And it was also practical for people who were traveling from abroad, because they did travel quite a bit. And partying. And no one wants to miss that. So, you know, they say that gathering is what made Icelanders a nation. And that's why Thingvellir is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And in case you're wondering about the name Thingvellir, Thingvellir means fields of parliament. So the place was named after the parliament. And the letter in the beginning of the word that looks like a P with an extra line coming out of it is pronounced TH. It's called thop. And it's a TH sound as in thing or thorn or thank you. And Thingvellir is also the place where the two tectonic plates meet, or the two continents. So right now we are still on the North American continent, but a little later, after our first stop, we're going to be driving off the North American continent into a rift valley. The water in there goes into the lake subterraneously and comes from the glacier Hallgrimskirkja, which means the long glacier. And the water, you know, they say that from the time it snows on the glacier, it takes that water about 1,000 years to reach the glacier. I mean the lake, not the glacier. And it travels through a lot of these rocks and minerals, and by the time it reaches the lake, it's very clean. And because it's so clean, there's interesting life in there, there's interesting plant life, and there are more types of trout than in your average lake. There's even type of trout that eat the little trout, so there's cannibalism. And all of that's very interesting to biologists, so it's a popular lake for research. But it's also popular for just fishing and water sports. And there are a lot of vacation homes all around this lake. And we have